Superstorm Sandy unleashes deadly fury, wreaking havoc across America's northeast. Leaving New York's subway flooded as a massive explosion plunges millions into darkness. Tonight we speak to Victorians caught up in the destruction. Also, the Saints star who's faced court after spending the night in jail will cross live for the details.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. At least 14 people are dead after the superstorm Sandy slammed into America's east coast. Packing powerful winds and pouring rain, it ripped buildings apart, chameleons, and flooded large parts of New York. Angela Cox is in the United States.
High drama over New York, a terrifying start as Sandy moved in. The crane perched on top of what will be the city's highest apartment building collapsed. Nearby buildings were evacuated as police cleared a collapse zone.
The instructions to all of them are don't try to be a hero and lose a life over this.
It blew back, crashing onto itself when winds were gusting at 65 kilometres an hour. Those gusts soon doubled as Frankenstorm swept across the coast from North Carolina up to Maine. 60 million people were in its path over a 2,500 kilometre stretch. It made a menacing sight from space and was just as frightening on the ground. The facade was peeled off this 4-storey building in Manhattan. Incredibly, no one was injured. As the storm whipped up monster waves, some headed for higher ground, while others took their chances, keen to make it a memorable moment. Orders were issued for people to stay inside their homes, but some who live on the water had nowhere else to go.
Because I think it's safer than being on shore. It's got a week of electricity and water and food.
Are you nervous?
A little bit, but I've got a good friend here.
Hundreds of trees were toppled, crashing into homes and bringing down power lines. A Manhattan power plant was knocked out by a series of explosions.
What the hell is this?
Power was cut to 5.3 million people. Authorities warn it could be weeks before it's fully restored. Waterfront homes felt the brunt of Sandy, especially around Atlantic City, where it first crossed the coast. By nightfall, the Big Apple was deserted. Streets in low-lying areas were soon underwater.
The big concern, the storm surge in New York City and here in Jersey City. In less than an hour, this road has become a river and it's not even high tide yet.
We have seen record surge levels. We're seeing an extraordinary amount of water throughout lower Manhattan.
It inundated the stock exchange on Wall Street with water up to a metre deep inside. It also swamped parts of the city's famous subway. All transport services in Sandy's path were cancelled. The usually busy skies over America's east coast were clear today. Around 12,000 flights were grounded, stranding some Australians who were keen to leave. Other Aussies were just trying to keep safe.
There's a lot of tourists around here who've been forced to stay inside, sometimes because of curfew and others because they're not quite sure exactly what's going on.
We just went out for dinner about half an hour ago, and a couple of hours ago we went to Times Square. There's not a lot going on here.
The presidential election campaign was suspended while Barack Obama returned to the White House.
Our number one priority is to make sure that we are saving lives, that our search and rescue teams are going to be in place.
Away from the coast, Sandy slammed into another storm front, which dumped deep snow in West Virginia. It had weather experts reaching for the record books to find out the last time a hurricane triggered a blizzard warning. In New Jersey, Angela Cox, 7 News.
And Angela joins us from Jersey City now. Angela, have the weather conditions eased?
Peter, the worst of the storm has passed this area. We still are getting occasional strong gusts of wind and there is still a little bit of rain, but nothing like what we've seen today. The strong wind is expected to persist until tomorrow night. They're also expecting another 20 centimetres of rain over the next 24 hours. What is quite remarkable is how quickly the water has receded, at least here where I am on this street just a few hours ago. The water was thigh high and now it's gone. Now, of a storm this massive, there was always going to be a huge impact. They're estimating the damage bill could come in at about $20 billion. Peter.
Thanks, Angela. Caught right in the middle of the storm, crews on board a replica of the HMS Bounty were forced to abandon ship. The vessel started taking on water as it battled monster seas. One person died and the captain is still missing.
Being down there in those waves is more like being in a washing machine. You know, you have these waves kind of hitting at you from every single direction.
The three-mast ship was built in 1960 for the Marlon Brando film Mutiny on the Bounty. Many Australians were caught up in the deluge. One of them was Sophie Gamwell from Melbourne. She had to leave her apartment due to flooding. I spoke to her at the height of the storm.
I currently live on the 12th floor of my apartment block, and up to the second floor is flooded at the moment.
Can you describe what's happening now there?
I've just seen... I'm looking out the window now. The Hudson has just risen a lot, and the cars that were parked just on the bank are now underwater.
Does the area still have power?
Yeah, we have power at the moment, but the lights are flickering, so I think any minute now the power is going to go out.
How are you coping with this situation? It must be terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I mean, we've been well informed by the government officials, and we've been well prepared, so we've stocked up on non-perishables, and I think we've prepared for the worst, so we should be okay.
Sophie Gamwell, take care and thanks for speaking to 7 News.
No worries, thank you.
Although Sandy is weakening, the storm is still packing a punch. David Brown's been tracking its progress and joins me now. David.
Mitch, Sandy's the biggest hurricane in the South Atlantic in the last 25 years, crossing the New Jersey coast right over the top of Atlantic City. Now, the full impact of the storm was felt between there and New York. That's a storm front of some 200 kilometres, about 3 times the size of Melbourne. The hurricane reached Category 5 status over the Caribbean, weakening as it tracked north, but it's still packing winds of around 150 kilometres per hour. Torrential rain has sparked widespread flooding, up to 400 millimetres in a day. Now, that's half Melbourne's annual rainfall. The impact area so far has been about half the size of Victoria, although the storm has battered 1,500 kilometres of coastline, that is, over the past week. As for the next 24 hours, some good news. What's left of Sandy is expected to head north and cross the Canadian border, moving up towards Toronto. Another 20-odd centimetres of rain, as Angela mentioned in her report, Mitch.
Thanks, David. Star St Kilda player Jason Graham has faced Moorabbin Court after his overnight arrest. Anastasia Salamastrakis joins us now. Anastasia, what's the latest?
Peter, Jason Graham looked absolutely devastated when he faced court here this afternoon. Now, while I can't tell you exactly what he's been charged with, what I can say is that the seriousness of these allegations led to police arresting him overnight. I can also reveal that it's the second time in as many months that the 28-year-old has been charged with similar offences. The prosecution opposed bail, arguing that there was a chance that he would re-offend, but his agent told the court spending a night in custody was a massive wake-up call. Now he will have to abide by certain conditions while he's on bail, and he's been ordered to reappear here next month. Peter.
Thanks, Anastasia. And another sports star found himself in the spotlight today with audio emerging of an incident involving tennis young gun Bernard Tomic. Police were called to a Gold Coast apartment yesterday morning when a woman in a neighbouring high-rise thought she saw 2 men brawling.
2 males are fighting, one is strangling another one. It looks like one male is going to fall off the side of the building. It looks like they are attempting to kill each other.
There's a couple of photos of mucking around in the bar on the penthouse.
At first the incident sounded dramatic, but when police arrived they realised it was just a play fight. With today's warm weather, a reminder that bushfire season's almost upon us. Residents in fire-prone areas want politicians to sort out a row over high-tech communications systems. Experts are warning lives will be put at risk if agreement isn't reached soon. Here's Brendan Donahue.
Chum Creek resident Jodie Bartlett survived the horror of Black Saturday. Now she can't believe there's a political fight over life-saving communication systems.
My kids lost everything. They've rebuilt, and we all know in Victoria it's all going to happen again. There's going to be more fires.
Our emergency services have asked for 20 megahertz of the broadband spectrum. Canberra's offered just half of that. King Lake resident Anthony McDonald, who lost 3 neighbours, says it's like playing Russian roulette.
I think stop playing games with people's lives.
It's something that potentially would put people at risk if we've got reduced bandwidth.
Canberra hit back.
I haven't pulled the number out of a hat. We've asked the experts to advise us.
The Premier sums up the fight in 2 words.
Just crazy.
The opposition says Ted Baillieu should call the Prime Minister and sort it out. Authorities are warning of yet another dangerous bushfire season, particularly after a wet spring and high growth. Power companies and the state are spending $750 million upgrading power line circuit breakers so they can be shut down by remote control, with underground wires considered too expensive.
We need to be guided by what will deliver the best safety dividend for the available money.
Brendan Donahue, 7 News.
A jackpot of $70 million is up for grabs in tonight's Oz Lotto Super Draw, and it seems most Victorians have their fingers crossed for a life-changing win. Rebecca Madden is in North Melbourne tonight, and Rebecca, there's still a chance to grab a ticket.
Yes, Peter, there is. This agency doesn't close until 7 o'clock, and there's been quite a rush in the last hour or so with those just knocking off work, trying to get into tonight's draw for $70 million. But I will tell you the odds aren't good, with an estimated 1 in 3 Australians buying a ticket for tonight's draw. But here is an interesting fact to ponder or even dream about. If just one person wins tonight's First Division, they will be the richest lotto winner in Australian history. The previous record was $58.7 million. So, Peter, I'll let you know now that if this is the winning ticket, I might not see you in at work tomorrow.
I'd imagine that. Thank you, Rebecca. Residents are being warned about the perils of snakes in suburbia. As Margaret Decker reports, numbers of the reptiles are expected to be higher than ever this summer, and experts want people to safeguard themselves and their pets.
The sun's out and so are snakes. With hibernation over, it's peak season.
He was found in a children's playground out of Caroline Springs.
Each year, around 160 people will be bitten across Melbourne.
And the best thing to do, if it's very close to you, is not move. Stand still, and the snake will more than likely just slither off and leave you alone.
It's not so easy with pets. Both of Marie Smith's dogs were bitten this year while running through vacant land behind her house. Paris was attacked 4 weeks ago. Melon was bitten in April.
You've got to know your dog or your cat. Understand their behaviour. See, Melon's behaviour, his barking wasn't normal.
They can be dead within minutes if they have a severe bite. Some of them, though, take a day or so. Some of the toxin is quite complex.
With the temperature now hitting the 30s, there are a number of simple but important steps to take to help safeguard your beloved pet. Install fencing, avoid waterways and avoid sunset walks. Snake season typically lasts until April. Margaret Decker, 7 News.
Ahead on 7 News, anger over a Facebook page for a teenage backyard fight club. Also, how the average family car could trigger asthma attacks. And the drunken Aussie who got a shock when he tried to climb Tom Cruise's front fence. Police are investigating a Facebook page that invites teenagers to fight each other in a Ringwood backyard. Called Backyard Fights in Ringwood, the page offers participants aged 15 to 20 the chance to earn money by challenging others to fight. The page says all the clashes would be filmed, possibly to end up on YouTube, like these brawls from Broadmeadows that appeared earlier this year. CityLink has revealed the cause of the computer glitch that brought Melbourne's traffic to its knees earlier this month. It comes as authorities unveil new measures to stop it from ever happening again. Dean Felton has the story.
A month after the 12-hour tunnel shutdown that crippled Melbourne's traffic, CityLink is finally certain what went wrong. A $15,000 computer switch failed, flooding the safety system with error messages and blocking all other transmissions. Transurban's confident it won't happen again, but in case it does, Vic Roads is determined to help drivers avoid their pet hate.
Traffic jam is a big one, obviously. I got to be very patient about it all.
I pay a toll and I sit underneath the toll gate.
New electronic information signs are going up on arterial roads before the freeway on-ramps.
What these signs do is give you that information before you make that decision and give you an opportunity to decide upon other alternative routes to use.
The signs are one of the final parts of the Monash Westgate CityLink upgrade project. It cost nearly $1.4 billion. and nearly 10% of that figure went on new technology to help keep traffic moving smoothly. There are new signs near all the main on-ramps. Dean Felton, 7 News.
A warning tonight, the family car could be the cause of asthma attacks and allergies for millions of Australians. A survey by the National Asthma Council has found a surprisingly high number of current models aren't fitted with proper air filtration systems. The Asthma Council urges asthmatics and allergy sufferers to choose cars with pollen filters.
And a good air filter will take away dust, pollens and mould spores that get into the car.
Charcoal filters that get rid of toxic gases were optional for all models surveyed, except the Volkswagen, which had it as a standard feature. A drunk Australian model has been tasered and arrested after he tried to break into Tom Cruise's Los Angeles mansion, thinking it was his own place. Police believe 41-year-old Jason Sullivan, a winner of the Channel 9 renovation show Homemade, was intoxicated when he was caught scaling Cruise's fence. Sullivan has been living at a house next door since his move to LA earlier this year. Tonight's sport is next with Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Mitch. And coming up after the break, the latest twist is next in the season's footy fixture. Also tonight, why the league's ramped up its Demons tanking probe. The struggling trainers dreaming of Derby glory in honour of their dad. And unveiling the new Hot Wheels set to shake up the V8 supercars.
With all the fun and style of the original, but this time, thanks to intelligent design, it's got even greater fuel efficiency. Plus, enough room inside to fit 4 of your friends. The all-new Mitsubishi Mirage is back. And it's better than ever. Love that car.
Hello again. The AFL has ramped up its investigation into claims the Melbourne Football Club tanked to lose matches back in 2009. Shane McGuinness is outside AFL House, and Shane, it now appears the club's hierarchy will have to face the AFL Commission in the coming weeks.
That's right, Sandy. Well, club president Don McClarty and CEO Cameron Schwab weren't returning calls today. It's being reported that up to 10 witnesses, including former coach Dean Bailey and then assistant Josh Marnie, recently bowed to pressure by league investigators, admitting a meeting took place where they were spoken to about forfeiting matches. The Demons are currently seeking legal advice, while Dean Bailey's future as an assistant coach at Port Adelaide could be in jeopardy. New Demons recruit Jack Viney and his teammates were out on the park this morning for pre-season training. But Sandy, it appears, unfortunately at the moment, the past continues to haunt the Demons and could continue to do so for some time to come.
Indeed, thank you, Shane. Meanwhile, 7 News can confirm Mick Malthouse will come up against Nathan Buckley and Collingwood for the first time in a Sunday afternoon blockbuster in round 2 next season. The Magpies play their first 3 games of 2013 on a Sunday. Meanwhile, 3 of the first 4 Friday night matches will be held interstate, the only game in Melbourne between St Kilda and Richmond on April 5. A shock withdrawal from Saturday's derby with second favourite Solemn, scratched because of an elevated temperature. And the spring drama continued for some at the course and for Gay Waterhouse, with Melbourne Cup runner Glencaddam Gold missing a Flemington workout this morning because of a foot complaint, but still remains a likely starter.
There'll probably be a 40-to-1 chance in the Cup, and he's every bit as good a chance, probably better. I mean, he needs the extra distance.
Glencaddam Gold skipped Flemington and went to the beach instead. And a small-time training family from Moe's dreaming of Victoria and the $1.5 million Victoria Derby. The Galagotas brothers from Moe have become one of the stories of the spring, preparing for the biggest day of their life, not long after one of their saddest. Leith Mulligan explains.
The moon is still up over Moe when Peter Galagotas is hard at it, training horses and telling stories. He and brother Manny could have a big tale to tell if their great hope Haverstan does what he did at track work today in Saturday's derby.
He is flying, that horse, seriously.
A winner of the Norman Robinson Stakes on Caulfield Cup Day, it made for emotional scenes. The Galagotas brothers had just lost their dad, Michael.
You can't help it, you know, like, I mean, anyone with a heart would have cried.
They had another city winner on Saturday. They're now convinced Dad's helping out from above.
The results that we've had in the last week, someone's doing something.
But what they wanted was to have him at Flemington on Derby Day.
I mean, I wish he could be there, but he's not. If there is any spirits there or whatever, I'm sure that he's part of it. It's disappointing. So yeah, look, we're there punching, as they say. So we're hoping that we get a great result.
If Havaston were to win the derby, emotions would be running high again, given the best 2 weeks of the Galagotas family racing outfit have come at a time when they've been hit hardest personally.
It would be a big thing. I reckon he'd be having a few extra cans, so there's no worries about that.
Leith Mulligan, 7 News.
And finally, a new era in supercar racing was revealed today, with the covers coming off the Nissan Altima to take on the traditional Ford and Holden rivals next year. It's already been nicknamed the Red Devil. And for those people, speaking of horsepower, Mitch, keen on heading to Flemington on Derby Day, general admission tickets just about sold out. So get in very quickly. And if you can't make it, of course, you'll see it here on 7.
A big crowd indeed. Thank you, Sandy. The Monday Lotto draw now. The numbers needed for a win: 1, 39, 43, 18, 13 and 10. The supplementaries 40 and 33. David Brown is next, and he'll have his forecast for Derby Day and the Melbourne Cup.
Now loves you back. New Mazda 3. Loves drivers.
Evening, an early taste of summer today. Hot tomorrow ahead of a late cool change. Today the maximum was 32 degrees around 2:30 this afternoon. That's around about 12 degrees above normal for this time of year. At the moment it's 30.2 and the air's very, very dry with the relative humidity sitting on 18%. From the satellite, this high pressure system sitting out over the Tasman Seas directing this dry and very warm northerly airstream over us. Clouds starting to build. There is a weak change on the way, but it's a shallow change. There's not much in it. The air ahead of it, though, will be very, very hot indeed. There's that change gradually pushing through. Cooler west to southwesterlies to follow. Should reach our part of the world around about this time tomorrow, with a few showers to follow and maybe the odd thunderstorm as well. Around the nation, well, we're expecting sunshine in Sydney tomorrow, around 24 degrees, 26 and sunny for Canberra. Adelaide, some showers building very, very late in the day, and it should reach 29 degrees. For Victoria, it will be hot ahead of that change, as we can see, gradually pushing through with just a few light showers to follow over the Western Plains late in the day. Out on the bays, a great place to escape the heat. Yes, winds out of the north, building to around 20 knots, then backing west to southwesterly at a similar strength around about late afternoon. Waves close to 1 metre and a top of 29 degrees expected at Frankston Bayside. For Melbourne, it will be warm tonight, dry and hot tomorrow with a freshening northerly wind ahead of that late cool change. We might see a few showers developing overnight. Should reach a top there, 34 degrees. The next 7 days, a few more showers on Thursday, cool around 18 degrees, clearing up on Friday. Derby Day, a stunner. Light winds, plenty of sunshine around 21 degrees. Touch warmer on Sunday, warmer again on Monday. Cup Day, up around 29 degrees, cloud building, and we might see a thunderstorm developing very, very late in the afternoon. So that's the latest weather, Mitch. A sizzler tomorrow, around 34 degrees.
OK, David, thank you. And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 30th of October. Thanks for your company. Coming up on Today Tonight, a desperate family going to great lengths to save their out-of-control son. That's next.
Today Tonight.